to see our players come out in a short period of time and learning the system and be able to execute as well as they did. And I thought they had a very physical mindset throughout the day, even before the scrimmage format of the day. And so was excited. And that was led by up front. They played really well up front, and Hayes in the middle kind of got them all together. So it was great to see. On offense, a lot of struggles today up front. Some ball security issues with the fumbled snaps again for 3 days in a row. So like always, after a week of spring, we got a lot of work to do. But it's good to finally have pads on so we can really go back and watch the film and truly evaluate our guys before we go to Tuesday.
Are you that concerned about those snap exchanges at this point with a guy playing it for the first time, or is that just something you're going to have to wade through?
No. I mean, it's a long ways till we play a real game. So we'll have plenty of time and a new position for him playing there. And so obviously we don't like it, but it's not a major concern. But we need to fix it.
How do you think Max Brown did for the first time, in a kind of a live situation like this?
I thought he did well. I mean, just a little thing like he was flushed to his right and was going to get sacked and threw it away instead of taking a sack. For a kid that's really supposed to still be in high school, it's hard. Kids that age, it's hard just to even call a play and get out of a huddle, let alone execute. So I think he's doing well.
What happened when? Go ahead. Sorry.
Any MVPs today?
Lamar Dawson. Thought he played really well in there and has really taken to the new scheme and playing aggressive in the run, and came off a couple times on zone plays off the guards and made a couple good plays. So it's really good to see. I think in general, as you look at our team, is those guys are in their fourth semester, that class. There's a lot of really good players in there that either are marquee players already, like Marquise Lee, or guys that are really coming into their own. So as those guys go into their third year, a lot of time that's when they really start to step it up, and I think Lamar's one of those guys.
Not sure if you're commenting on it, but can you tell us why Max Whittick was on the sidelines?
Yeah, Max hurt his knee. Both Max and Marquise both hurt their knees earlier in practice, so they're going to have them both checked out further.
About Shelton?
Hurt his ankle real early in practice and did not return.
How did Kessler do, do you think, today?
I thought Cody did really well. I think he was 15 and 18 or something like that. But I thought he kind of did what Cody does, which is show up in these formats, make plays, flip the ball underhanded, and it's kind of what he's always done. He's always been a gamer, whether that's high school basketball, high school football, or in these formats for us.
When you go back and evaluate the tape, how difficult is it to determine how well the quarterbacks are doing with the snap issues?
I don't think it'll be that difficult. We'll still be able to evaluate them on the other plays and see what it looks like. I think more than that, it's harder to evaluate because of the rush. The defensive line's rush and pressure, didn't allow them to get much rhythm today.
Is there any of those three ahead at this point of the quarterbacks?
No. This is the third practice. We haven't even thought that way yet. We got a lot of evaluation left before we get to the point to start putting them in an order.
Chad Wheeler's been getting a bit more reps at the left tackle position. What's his weight up to, and how are you feeling about his progress in terms of can he challenge for playing time this year? Yeah,
Chad was 284 last week, which is a guy who on his official visit, whatever that was, a year and a half ago, or less than 2 years ago, was 220. So Chad's really done an unbelievable job in the weight room with nutrition, and hopefully he's one of those kind of lower recruited guys, that you see something in camp like we did, and he comes in and just progresses and kind of ends up passing up some more highly recruited guys.
What weight do you want him to get up to in the long run?
Well, I think eventually he'll be a 300-pound guy. He's got big legs. We're talking about a guy who's still, is only redshirted, so he's still got 4 years left.
What do you think your wide receivers? How did you what sense to get from them?
I thought Marquise was really good in 7-on-7. We found our best corner on our team too today. We flipped him and put him on the other side. So, Nelson made a good play there on the deep ball. George made 2 over routes, looked good. So I thought there were some good things there. Devon Fornoy took a really short pass for about 20 yards, so it was good.
Marquise Simmons was playing that stand-up defensive end role. What made you think to put him there?
Marquise is a really strong kid. upper body strength, and so when we played under defense before over the years, when he's been on the tight end, he's been kind of a pain for us on offense. So really was remembering that, and that's really what that role does. Moving him there to try to find a role for him.
After first week practice, what are you pleased with what you've seen, or are you concerned? How would you evaluate?
Well, I'm really pleased with our defensive coaching staff. Getting things done so quick and the players taking to it. I would say we'd be really pleased with our first front seven unit. I think that we need to get these. We got 3 defensive linemen that have not practiced yet that hopefully will be back after spring break. That can give us more depth inside of those 3 inside spots, so we can get depth there because we don't have any depth there right now. The offensive line's got a ways to go. The running back, we know what Silas is. I think having Justin Davis here has been awesome. He's going to be really good. He's a very natural runner, very good system fit, very similar run system that he had in high school. And the third tight end's coming along, Jalen. We know what the first 2 really are. The receivers, what Marquise is. Nelson's going to be really good. The other guys are coming along, and the 2 fullbacks are getting better. So and they need to. That we got no production from that position last year. Really was a big difference from the year before when Ross was back there and Red Ellison was back there. So and secondary, we got a lot of young players back there that are really talented but have a long ways to go.
Earlier in practice, there were a couple of blocked field goals on special teams. What was that a function of?
Well, that's the drill.
Okay.
Fortunately.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Just wanted to check,
drill's
guys.
set up for them to be blocked.
They're
That's
looking
actually
good,
a field goal block drill, so it was
Okay.
a good thing, not a bad thing.
Great.
If Deion Bailey comes back at linebacker, what linebacker spot are you thinking for him?
Well, there's really only 2 inside spots now. The Sam is where you're talking about those outside guys playing, so there's a Mike and a Will, and Hayes is in at Mike. Deion would be, if he goes to linebacker, he'd be at Will, which isn't much different than where he was before. He was called a Sam before, but those are the 2 guys right there.